I've had to rearrange my filming location because it is raining and it got dark really quickly. But I have to take this book back to the library tomorrow, so I'm trying to make a video quickly here so it's not trying to rush while I'm trying to get this book back. I finished Africa is Not a Country by Dipo Faloyin, and it is a really, really good book about Africa, obviously, and how Africa has been exploited, and how we have such, as Westerners, have such a kind of convoluted idea about what Africa is, and how all these different ethnic groups are not one country. They're not. It's this kind of, we all just sort of lump Africa into one thing. We have this idea from movies and different things like that, and he really goes in hard. And he's a very funny author, but a very interesting one. And this was just really, really interesting. He points out a lot of the problems, but he does it in a way that is not. He does it in a way that is really accessible and understandable. It's not some far out concept of something. You understand what he's talking about, the way that he expresses this and the way that he talks about the problems that he's run into, just even from everything from, he talks about movies and Black Panther and how the accent was such a big thing in that. He talks about how the museums have taken all these different artifacts from these different cultures in Africa that belong to that particular culture, but the museum is not interested in giving them back. And these are like the British Museum and, Metropolitan Museum art, all these different things that have all these treasures that really belong to different African countries rather than the people who basically went and looted the country. He talks about a lot of different dictators and how they sort of run things differently and what sort of the quirks are with looking at them, and how you can't even just look at Africa as a country as a continent that has so many different warlord people. There's a lot of different nuance when it comes to the different areas. It's not even different countries, it's different areas that had different military leaders and kind of what went into all that. He talks about the fact that the white savior complex and how even charity and stuff talks about Africa and has this image and just all sorts of stuff. Like I said, very, very good book. This I would very much recommend to anyone. So much so that one of the teachers at school who teaches human geography, she's going to read it now because I kind of talked about it, talked it up to her. But it's raining really heavily and it's gotten really loud and it's getting misty on the porch. So I'm going to wrap this one up pretty quickly and make once again the assessment that Africa is not a country. It's a continent made up of lots of different countries that weren't even divided very well, because the colonists are the one who came in and divided them without paying any attention to any of the ethnic groups anywhere and anything along those lines. So this book, if you find this one, this is probably one of the best ones I've read this year.